Suhashani here and welcome back to my channel. So it is my 7th video and yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I hope you are enjoying my content and you're liking the types of videos that I'm doing. If you are, I would love it if you could subscribe, like, comment and give me any sort of feedback that you wish to give. So in today's video, I decided to do another books video. Woo! Because a lot of people really did enjoy the 3 books that changed my life, and the types of themes those books had was to do with spirituality, self-growth, self-help kind of content in terms of the material that they tackled. And I thought those weren't the only types of books that have really helped me in my self-growth journey and getting on the spirituality vibe. So I thought I would share today 3 other books that really emphasize on spirituality, really emphasize on self-help and developing your character. And I thought I would share those books today. So yeah, if you are interested in that, please keep watching. So the first self-help book that I am going to introduce is A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. This book, if I was to describe this book in one word, it would be awakening. It really is the type of book that's gonna shift the way you think and your conscious level of thinking. And I really found it to be very impactful in the terms of the way I look at things, the way I look at myself, and how I want to progress in terms of gaining more spiritual understanding of myself and my soul and just in general of life. So this book really is wow. There are 3 things I kind of want to emphasize. It's not everything about the book, it's just 3 things that I've picked up and I've interpreted from reading this book. So the first thing I want to say is the purpose. So the purpose of Eckhart's message with A New Earth, from my understanding, is he really wants to try and shift our conscious thinking. So the way we think now, we're programmed in a certain way because of the things that are happening in the world, because of what is available for us in the world. He wants to really try and shift that focus so that we have a new level of thinking, a new way of living, and overall that impact will have a more positive, healthier lifestyle towards us as humans. The second thing that I really picked up on is this idea of mental superiority. So I didn't really understand what actually this was. Obviously I know, certain people are going to have character traits where they will feel superior to other people, or others might feel inferior to other people. But this whole idea of mental superiority that everyone in a way carries, but they just don't acknowledge it, or it's in the background and they genuinely don't even know that they're doing it. And the third thing that I really caught up on was this attachment to things, like the attachment to material possessions, the way we identify ourselves with titles, with names, with salaries. It's just this whole attachment that really clouds, I really want to say clouds, but I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it clouds our way of thinking because we're so involved in what we have and what we want and wealth and material possessions that we don't really see life for what it is and what it could be. There's this idea from the beginning that Eckhart really volumizes that human beings, we're running at a dysfunctional level. We always have this feeling that we want more from life, that we're never really satisfied with what we have. And he really breaks down why we always want more. Like, what is it in our head that makes us just not happy with what we have? If you feel dissatisfied with what you have, or even if you feel like, okay, I've got something or I've achieved something, a couple of days later you're looking at something else you want to get, something else you really want to achieve, without even acknowledging what you have already. If you feel any type of way with that, this book really gives a breakdown of how you can start not feeling like that. Chapter 2 really is the game changer for me because it introduces the identification of the ego. Because when I was kind of reading up on spirituality and I really wanted to take it seriously and try and change and really self-grow myself on that spiritual level, obviously I know what an ego is, I know people's ego. Like, I understand the meaning of ego, but I didn't really understand it from a spiritual point of view. And A New Earth really breaks that down. He really goes into the elements, the factors, the actual structure of ego, and how you can identify it in everyday living when you're just thinking a certain way. What Eckhart is trying to teach us is how we can make our ego unconscious so that we're aware of it, but we don't act on it. We don't respond to it. We don't do an action because of the ego. And what I mean by the ego is how Eckhart describes it is, you know, the attachment of things, what we choose to identify with selves. The idea that when we have things, it gives us a sense of pride, a sense of self. And also, if we are looking at other people who have certain things, we feel like an apparent loss that we don't have that, and we really want to go out our way to also have that too, because we're not experiencing what they're experiencing. So all of this forms ego-like behavior. It really fuels your ego further. And the reason why he wants to shift our conscious thinking is so that we can not think from an ego perspective. We want to think within ourselves. Eckhart says, if everyone lived in a mansion or everyone was wealthy, your mansion or your wealth would no longer serve to enhance your sense of self. That really puts into perspective this whole idea about ego, is that if everyone was wealthy and everyone lived in amazing, beautiful mansion level houses, we would all not really give as much association or care to it. Whereas obviously everyday living, not many people live in mansions, not many people are wealthy enough to have that level of lifestyle. But because of that, some people might view them a certain way, or those people who have that lifestyle may feel a certain way. And that is like a sense of self, and that is where the ego kind of comes in. Because of that association of wealth, or that association of title, or the things that we have and where we live, that really funnels your ego more to think a certain way. But the idea is that you don't want to think a certain way. You shouldn't feel some type of way because you live in a massive house, or you drive a fancy car, or you shouldn't feel a certain way when you see people in those fancy cars and you're driving in a common car, because if you do, it's like you're giving into your ego, you're really feeding into that. I hope I'm explaining it well. So yeah, I think that's a really good quote. And the way I then kind of wanted to understand it myself is I formed an example so that I really understood and learnt from what Eckhart was writing. So I'm gonna put myself out there. But yeah, like I said in my previous video, I really love bags. I'm a bag girl all the way. I don't have a designer bag. I've never owned a designer bag. When I mean designers, I mean like Gucci, I mean Dior, I mean Chanel, like I mean those types of designer bags. So for me, one of my goals, or one of my accomplishments is one day I hope that I will be able to be in a position where I could buy those designer bags and build like a collection. So yeah, that's like my materialistic self coming out and telling you my materialistic goal. So say for example, if, yay, I ended up buying a Chanel bag and I feel like great. I'm like, oh my God, finally I bought a Chanel bag, and I feel really proud of myself for getting to that position. If I then went out with that Chanel bag, or say for example, not even just one bag, all of a sudden I had like a certain collection of designer bags and I feel some type of way. If I then went out and I had that bag, that materialistic item, that designer item shouldn't fuel my ego. It shouldn't then make me feel a certain way or have an attitude where, oh, I have these designer items, now I feel like I'm superior. I shouldn't feel like that, and I don't feel like that. I'm just putting it out there, I don't feel like that. But just an example to really portray the ego is I'm using this example. So yeah, I shouldn't feel a certain way. So for example, if I'm going into shops, restaurants, and I have this Chanel bag and it's an expensive one, let's just say, put a price on, let's say it's a £5,000 Chanel bag, and everyone around me knows that it's a £5,000 Chanel bag, that shouldn't make me feel a certain way, that, oh yeah, I've got a sense of pride now because I have this bag and no one else does, or because I was able to buy that bag and no one else is in a position to buy that. Nor at the same time, other people viewing me with that bag shouldn't then feel a certain way, that they feel envious or like, oh my god, she's got that bag, like how did she get that, or also then being extra nice to me or giving me special treatment because I have that bag, or because from that identifiable bag they've now pictured a sense of my character. Yeah, they've now pictured a sense of my character, or maybe like my wealth, and all of a sudden they're now nice to me because of that. So it goes both ways. It goes from me carrying that bag, and it shouldn't make me feel some type of way because I have a designer bag and a $5,000 Chanel bag on me. At the same time, other people seeing me shouldn't then feel some type of way because I do have that bag. I'm still human, you know, I'm still going about my business, I'm still doing what I can do. If I'm in a position to get that bag, that shouldn't make other people feel a certain way. But also at the same time, that shouldn't then make me feel superior because I do have that bag. So if that does make me feel superior, that is the ego. And if other people view me as like, oh, like she's, you know, some type of way because she has this bag, then that's their ego talking. So if I was to explain this further, so let's say then I go out with a Chanel bag on that day, but then the next day I go out with a bag that I bought for like £5 at Primark. And people know that I bought it for £5. People know that I can only afford a £5 Primark bag. I should feel the same way. So whether I go out with a 5,000 Chanel bag and the next day I go out with a £5 Primark bag, my level of conscious thinking, I should feel the same. I shouldn't feel superior because I have a designer item, and I shouldn't feel inferior because I bought a bag from not a designer brand. At the same time, other people see me and they know that this bag, oh, she can only afford a £5 Primark bag. Their ego, they shouldn't feel a certain way because of that. We should all think, and our conscious level of thinking should be exactly the same. So that's how you know that your ego isn't being fulfilled, that your ego is just there. You know it's there, but you're not going to act on it. You're not going to start thinking a certain way because of that. So that's the best way I can describe this whole idea of ego. And I hope that really made sense. And I just wanted to put it out there that I'm not like that. Maybe at one point I felt like, you know, chasing with this is the way to go. And obviously I do have those goals, you know, that's my materialistic side of it. But what I wanted to emphasize is I don't have that ego, I'm trying to get rid of that. And that's me going on my spiritual journey to get rid of that. And that's this whole concept of ego. That's the message behind it, is you should feel exactly the same with whatever you have. You should treat people exactly the same with whatever you have. And you shouldn't feel a sense of pride or a sense of self, or feeling like you're better than anyone because you have certain things, or feeling like you're less than anyone because you don't have those things. You should be the same. And when you are the same, regardless of your situation, your financial situation, or what you can buy and what you can't buy, your ego is the same. So that means, well, not that your ego is the same, but your ego is just there. So you know, you're aware that, okay, with this purchase, I may start feeling a certain way. But you're then going to stop yourself and be like, no, it doesn't matter that I have this bag. It doesn't matter that I have this car. My attitude is the same. I'm not going to look at people differently. I'm going to feel the same. I'm going to do the same. And it goes vice versa with other people viewing you. So I really hope I explained that. But the way I even went about that example, and the way I even thought of that example, was through reading this book and really understanding what an ego is, and trying to grow spiritually so that I don't funnel from the ego. I don't stem from the ego, from my ego self. So yeah. So the second self-help book, this is more or less on the spiritual side of things, is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So it starts off with a shepherd boy called Santiago, and he keeps having this dream again and again. And so what he does, he ends up going to this fortune teller, and he's like, you know, like, this is my dream, what is it about, can you tell me anything? So this fortune teller basically says to Santiago, you're having a prophecy, you know, there is going to be some sort of treasure in the pyramids, and we need to really follow this prophecy and go and do it, like go follow that dream. So Santiago's like, okay, whoa, like, you know, right, I'm going to embark on this journey. I'm going to get to the Egyptian pyramids and I am going to find this treasure. And that's when the story really takes off. I really am a believer of signs, you know, omens, anything that really you've just picked up on the way in your everyday living, but then it starts happening to you repetitively. Like all of a sudden you're seeing things like that, or there's like a running theme. And it's going to give you an indication of, okay, I should do something, or like I should make the decision so that it's going this way, or that I should start working on this instead. I really do believe that the universe gives you signs. And the way the universe does that is because if it feels that you really want to chase something, you really want to put a goal into place, you're really doing all the things that you can to go about your destiny. And if the universe takes a hold of that, it really takes a hold of your energy, it's going to give you that. It's going to show you certain ways that you can maneuver around that to get to your destination. Normally, if you're not looking out for signs or symbols, or you're not really on that spiritual level, you don't really care, you're not gonna register what the universe is showing you. And once you do register, you're going to see things more clear, and you're really going to pick up on certain things that other people are oblivious to, but you're going to start picking up on that. Something to do with health, if you feel as though you haven't done a health checkup, but then all of a sudden you're starting to see different health things, and you're getting really triggered by seeing that, maybe that's an indication the universe is telling you, look, go and get a checkup, go to the doctor, sort this out because I'm saving you, sort of thing. And it sounds really silly, but I feel like those people who really relate to the universe like I do, and really are on that spiritual level, you're going to understand what I mean, and you're going to be like, yeah, like I've had moments where I've seen certain things and I've seen it again and again, and then I acted on it, and it's given me a better destination, and a better outcome has come as a result of that, instead of if I was oblivious. So yeah, it really is about connecting with the soul, becoming one with the universe, and going about your destiny, but in a novel. So I do like the difference in that. My third and final book is Self-Power by Deepak Chopra. I really like the title being Self-Power. So I thought I would go into the definition of what self-power is, so that you can understand the nature of this book and what its purpose is. So you can either see self-power as a source of energy. It's really like this innate uplifting power or force. Yeah, uplifting power or force that makes you break through all of those obstacles and really allows you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And another way you can view self-power is this self-realization in your development. So it's like you sitting down and reflecting and really beginning to understand and put into practice actual change, to the point where you will see differences to your behavior in everyday situations. So that is self-realization. So for example, there's self-power to go through self-love, to have self-confidence, to grow your self-esteem. It's using that power to really develop yourself. So for example, if you're in traffic and you're literally just been waiting in the car for half an hour and the traffic is not moving at all, and you're getting really annoyed and frustrated and angry, and it just ends up ruining your day, there are certain things you can do to make you end up so that you won't feel that way, and you won't become angry, and you won't be frustrated. In a week's time, you go through traffic, you're going to feel more calmer, or you're not going to let it get to you, or you're not going to say to yourself, oh, because this has happened, I'm going to have a bad day. You're not going to get frustrated. You're just going to be calm. You're just going to go through the traffic, and you're just going to accept, okay, this is what it is. I'm just going to get through it. I'm not going to react to it. So those differences in behavior is really your self-power. You're using your power, your energy, to really self-develop yourself. So that's why this is a really good self-help book, because he gives you perspectives, he gives you steps to really go about navigating those certain everyday situations that everyone goes through, but they let those situations get to them. It's a very encouraging book. It allows you to really form your own force, to really be like, yeah, I've got some sort of thing in me and I'm just gonna beast everything. I'm just gonna get over this life obstacle. So it really brings all of that together when you're reading the book. And I think that's why I really love the title again, that it's called Self-Power, because he emphasizes that it's all on you. If you want to change, you have the ability to change. If you want to think a certain way, you have the ability to think that way. If you want to go about and get over this obstacle, you have the ability to get over this obstacle by using your self-power. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book is at the end, there is a chapter called Dear Deepak 1-to-1. And I really love this because I haven't seen it in any other self-help book that I read so far. Is he's included letters that people have written asking for advice or some sort of spiritual guidance in the problem that they have. And I really do love that, because say for example, if you feel like the book itself hasn't tackled certain issues that you're going through, the chances are with all of these letters that people have written to him, you're going to get a scenario that's similar to what you're going through, and then you can read that person's problem and you can then read the solution and how Deepak says to go about this scenario to them, and you can pick up on those advice tips yourself. So that concludes today's books videos. I hope they help you, and in all honesty, all of these books together have given me the understanding, perspective and insight that I need now to handle things that I'm going through now. All of them are valuable. They all have something unique to offer that the other doesn't.